Well, I've got quite the tale for you today. Last weekend I was both honoured and surprised to be invited to the Spinal Tap 2 UK Gala screening. I've never been at one of these events before, and there seemed to be some kind of playing it cool etiquette. As in, don't have loads of champagne and caviar and start asking all the stars for pictures. However, I got firmly stuck in on all counts. Oh, hello Cass, the bass player from Skunk Anansie. Quick picture. Oh, Eddie Izzard. Do you mind? Oh, hello Martin Freeman. And I swear this is true. Upon asking Martin Freeman for a picture, he says, "I know you." And I was like, "What?" He said, "I've seen you on YouTube." And I thought the film was great. Sort of a solid 7 out of 10. There was one line that really made me laugh from David St. Hubbins. And he says, "Oh, I'm just reading Bruce's new book. It's called Springsteen Going on Spreventine." Well, I found it funny. So we came out of the cinema area and there was this band called Bilk there. And they'd strutted in earlier in their shades and their leather jackets. And when they came out the cinema, they still had their sunglasses on. And I said, "Right lads, be honest. Did you wear the shades during the film?" And this singer just said nothing and just started staring at me. But luckily, Cass came over at this point and diffused the situation because he said, "Don't mind him, he's just a comedian." And I ended up going out with Cass and his mate and we got absolutely battered on expensive London cocktails. It was ace. And so, you see that box down there? They put a few of these Spinal Tap books out on the seats in the cinema, so I collected a few at the end in a big box. And so I was reading it on the train home, and there's a bit where they explain the original inspiration for the band. And so the story goes that Christopher Guest, who plays Nigel Tufnell in the film, saw this British rock and roll band in a hotel lobby in LA. And it's whoever that band was that heavily inspired Spinal Tap. And I found a clip where he's talking about it.
Angeles, I was at a hotel. And I was sitting in the lobby, waiting for a friend, and a British band came in. This would have been 1977, maybe. 4 or 5 of them come in. The manager comes up to the hotel. "Oh, yeah, we'd like to check in, please. Right. And one guy with a kind of a vacant expression. And the manager said, "Yeah, where's your bass?" "What? Where's your bass?" "I don't know." "You don't know where your bass is?" "No, I think I left it at the airport." "You did what?" "I think I left my bass at the airport."
And I thought, who is that band? So many British bands claim to be the original inspiration. Rick Parfitt was convinced it was Status Quo. Black Sabbath had an onstage Stonehenge.
Stage set, Geezer said, "Stonehenge." And the guy said, "Well, how do you envisage this?" And he said, "Life size." So they produced a life-size Stonehenge in carbon fibre and whatever.
Saxon bassist Steve Dawson even penned a book called Saxon Drugs and Rock and Roll, The Real Spinal Tap. But now the only thing he'll be penning is the Sex Offenders Register. So Christopher Guest said it was 1977 in Los Angeles. I had a look through which British bands went through there at that time, and he would have recognised nearly all of them. Queen, Fleetwood Mac, Yes, Genesis, ELO, but one of them was The Damned on their first US tour. He probably wouldn't have recognised them. And it was said to have been a disaster of a tour because they had this support slot with television and they cancelled on them, so they had to rearrange the whole thing. And, you know, the disarray could have led them to leaving a base in an airport. And the Damned bassist at the time was Captain Sensible.
"No, I think I left it at the airport."
The first gigs I ever did, we were supplied with like huge amounts of alcohol.
No. This. Look. There's a little problem with the. Look, this miniature bread.
You know what? Why? You know, when it's really hot and that, and the sun's shining, I don't see why people have got to cover themselves up with clothes.
"You did what?"
He said, "Captain." I said, "What?" He said, "Captain." I said, "What?"
"Where's your bass?" "What?"
He said, "Captain." I said, "What?" He said, "Captain." I said, "What?"
Bloody hell! I mean, I have no definitive proof, but it's definitely possible that the band that inspired Spinal Tap was The Damned. You heard it here first, you dipsticks.